back to episode 46 of Rebooked, a show where we talk about the men and women who'll be slapping meat in the middle of the square circle and the stories they tell in the process. I'm, of course, GB. You got Matt. You also have Jake. And on this episode, we're going to be talking about the Hurt Syndicate, an unexpected reunion that happened Friday, and we're getting closer and closer to AEW Full Gear and WWE Survivor Series. Let's go ahead and jump right in. But before we do so, I do want to let our viewers know that I'm an idiot and didn't record the first part of the show. So we were doing everything. And we'll see what happens. Let's go ahead.
Well, this is wrestling. They don't know you fuck up unless you tell them.
I don't care. It's
they don't know what's a botch unless you tell the audience.
We have to be
real.
Up. We have to be real with our audience. We have to be real with our audience. Okay, keep it $1.50 with them at all times. We owe it as much to them.
Start calling this show Rebotch.
Rebotch. I'm gonna punch you in the neck. All right, let's dive into our first topic of discussion because the Hurt Syndicate has been making waves in AEW, and they are awesome. I wanted to take a moment to talk about this because I know, Jake, like AEW has needed something like this for a little while. Like the Death Rider thing has been really, really good. But to see a faction like this, and I'm actually glad we're kind of redoing this because I kind of feel like it's a better version of the Don Callis family now that I actually think about it. And I wonder if we're going to start to see.
They don't have a complete buffoon in charge, so that's why.
Exactly. And I just thought that Will Hobbs could end up in Hurt Syndicate. Holy shit.
Good.
Especially with him aligning with Ricochet recently and Ricochet being recruited by Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good.
Hurt Syndicate is super over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already super over.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, first of all, they just have star power, name recognition for starters, but like they're getting to continue. I don't know. Yeah. It's like when a show is canceled too soon and then you're like, don't worry, Netflix just picked it up.
Yeah.
So they're going to throw on it. They're going to throw in a few more seasons. You're like, let's go. Now they've got the budget that they need. Now they've got the time and attention. That's kind of what it is. That's what it feels like a little bit to me. I mean, it's, they're already presented like stars. It's not just another group, because that's one thing we talked about in the Lost episode is that is like they just already feel super over the way that they're presented, the music, the introduction. I mean, they come out in the finest suits money can buy, and like they just look good. They smell good. Scream legit. Yes.
You know they smell good.
They have to smell good. Like sandalwood. Yeah. I smell sandalwood when they come on my screen.
Fresh mahogany. Fresh mahogany. And what was that one? Patchouli? What was that?
Patchouli.
Yeah. Patchouli.
Sure. A hint of patchouli. That's MVP. But they look the part, they act the part. It helps that they already have tremendous chemistry, because that's always a big thing.
Yeah.
With factions, and even in AEW, is it seems like they group people together because they got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like that's what it feels like a lot of times. But these guys, like they of course they belong together.
They feel intentional.
Yes.
Obviously we know that they're like that this team, was a thing.
It's different because they know that this faction is gold.
Can pop off. They know it can pop off.
They know
because it almost did in WWE. It almost did on Monday Night Raw. And then
they
kind of put the stops on it.
I think that they did a lot of stuff.
They did.
I thought they were super over and super popular. I mean, because it was wasn't that during Thunderdome that they kind of started? It just
felt like they fizzled so fast. They
weren't given the time.
Yeah.
They weren't given the time. They weren't given the attention. But boy, when Bobby had the title and then MVP came in and I don't know, man. I really enjoyed them in WWE. I'm very excited to see what they do here, because they just seem more over than honestly anyone because go watch last week's Dynamite.
Yeah.
You got when anybody else came out, even the big names in AEW, your OCs, the Death Riders, even look at them. They got like an initial, like, hey, like a pop, like, all right, we're excited. and then boy, did that die so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and then it's just they're slowly walking in, looking around, trying to be all better, and nobody's doing a thing.
Yeah.
Nobody in the audience
and-
is, and it's a bummer. It may have just been that it was a shit crowd that night.
Yeah.
But I mean, they already seem super over. So
They do.
That's big for AEW. That's really big for AEW.
I think
They've been
what's
needing something like this.
great about this though, Matt, is that like, so we know that this was a faction obviously in WWE, but you know, this existed prior actually in TNA prior.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like MVP has been doing this before. And I guess he thought with WWE and their muscle, you know, it would have been a bigger thing, but then the Bloodline ended up kind of taking precedence for factions in WWE, and Judgment Day kind of started to, you know, slowly rise to the top, because WWE doesn't like to do too many factions, but they like to have the ones that they can lean on, you know?
Sure.
Do you feel like though that rehashing this a third time, you know, like, was there maybe a reason why it didn't work out the two other times before? Or like, yeah, because that's something that does stick in the back of my mind.
Yeah, it's like, so, you know, this, for those that don't know, do your research. Beatdown Clan, TNA, look, so many things it feels like, dude, start in the weird early days of TNA.
Because it's creative as hell, man. That's why.
Yeah, because it is a place, I was, for better or for worse sometimes, they take risks. Yeah, it's a bit of a playground. And a lot of stuff misses, but because it's a bit of a smaller company, there's more mobility and there's more like, let's give it a try and stuff like that.
See what sticks, if you will.
100%. 100%. So it's that classic, like, mess with the idea. Oh, there's something here. Then, you know, people leave, contracts, money, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we're all in WWE. We got the muscle behind it, like you said. But given some people who are in charge and everything, you have their opinions sway and everything. They went. I think they did it in a minute there. This is the opportunity. If it don't work here, then it may not be the ultimate thing that's going to work. But I do think this could be finally the place to make it work. Because despite the fact that AEW is super faction heavy, I think they could make a name for themselves. I mean, they're recruiting left, right, and center.
Yeah, I
don't think everybody will come along, but you know, your Leo Rushes, I think maybe the Acclaimed or even just Max. Yeah, as we kind of saw tease could come, and I think they could. I think hopefully they're around to stay. That was the point I made on the lost footage, but that remember, you know, AEW has a lot of New Japan influences, which is very faction heavy, but it's not. They're like these nations that have always existed, and people come and people go, and they exist side by side, and sometimes they war and sometimes they don't, and they team up. And they're always around. So if AEW does that, as long as it's not like every pay-per-view, there's a 4-on-4 match, faction warfare.
Yeah.
Or every Dynamite, because they do that a lot too, kidding. Where it's like, here's an 8v8 super faction match. It's like, God, just let two people fight each other.
Yeah.
Just let two people fight each other.
These factions they can always exist, like almost like a country, like a real faction, but it doesn't always have to be about faction versus faction.
Right.
Yeah.
Teams from those can feud. Individuals can feud between them over certain titles, whatever. But
look at the U.S. You know, Los Angeles doesn't like New York. The South doesn't like women. I mean, everything is a different, like, you know, you can be contained.
I mean, you can go Beverly Hills versus downtown versus Hermosa Beach versus Malibu.
Sure.
Versus Anaheim.
The Valley against I mean, come on. Like,
the Valley against the world, man. You know,
Valley against the world. That's the truth. That is the truth.
Oh, Lord. Someone call what's his face, Johnny Cobra Kai. Get that Cobra Kai and then get him over there to
Johnny Lawrence.
Fight Johnny Lawrence.
Come
Johnny
Lawrence.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. But I do say though that what makes me excited about this particular faction is like the potential, you know,
a lot of meat on the bone.
Oh God, yeah, a lot of meat on the bone. I went back and watched the Shield versus the New Day, as well as the Shield versus the Wyatts. But the Shield versus the New Day was
Shield
really
versus
good.
Wyatts.
was great.
Those are some of my favorite. Those matches, just to reminisce for a moment. They just seemed like they were trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
That's part, like, it was just, you could feel the chemistry that they had together, and it was just like, let's just go play, guys. Let's just.
And it was two factions, two groups of the moment.
Oh yeah.
There were a lot of the time in this day and age, I feel like you have a lot of people who are like, oh, the really well-established guy, they're awesome, but your Randy Orton's, your John Cena's, whatever. They're working with somebody kind of on the up and up. But it was dude who were like, they weren't brand new, they weren't rookies, but they weren't like the establishment legend guys either.
Yeah.
They were like both cresting at the same time. And it was just, to Jake's point.
Yeah.
Which is why what I want to see, if I may put on my inquisitive hat and then put on my fantasy booking cap.
You should get a fantasy booking cap, by the way.
I actually
has that font.
We should get fantasy booking. I
We
want
should.
them airbrushed.
Fuck, you are so right. We're going to get fantasy booking hats.
I want them airbrushed like that.
We're going to get fantasy booking hats. All right,
Okay,
cool.
done.
So just some brief fantasy booking real fast is that I see you're talking about factions kind of like, combining at the same time. I see that happening potentially with the Death Riders and the Hurt Syndicate, which would be really, really cool because they both have different philosophies when it comes to why they exist to begin with. And I think that those philosophies.
They're opposed. It's not just that they're different, they're opposing. They perfectly juxtapose each other. I mean, the fact that Hurt Syndicate is all about gold, it's all about prestige that comes with it, the money, the recognition, the fame.
Yep.
And Death Riders care nothing about that. It's about the purity of the sport. And
might is right.
Might is right. Exactly. And they go about their, to pardon the pun, business in similar ways. Their Death Riders are just less diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
Like Hurt Business is like, man, when one of us thrives, we all thrive. That's the point of the Hurt Syndicate. Come on in here. Let's all share this wealth together. But people who don't want to share it with us, they ain't getting a crumb. Not one iota. And when those two face off, it's going to be a blast.
I wonder how they get there.
And then the real fantasy booking is we get a little corporate ministry flashback and they become the Death Syndicate and all hell breaks loose.
Bro, the Death Syndicate's a badass name.
That actually sounds really cool.
Surprisingly. I was going for something goofy and it sounded way better than I expected.
I mean, like that just sounds
like
put that shit on a Joe.
That's like a G.I. Joe villain combined with a Bond villain to
Moxley
form the
and Lashley tag team champions.
Can you imagine Moxley and Lashley teaming together and calling themselves the Death Syndicate? Oh my God.
I didn't until I just said it.
What about Shelton Benjamin and Claudio?
Oh my God.
Bro, that would be nasty.
Well, first of all, these matches are going to be awesome to watch when they collide.
Yeah.
Bro, can you imagine Pac versus Shelton Benjamin?
Ooh, yes.
I mean,
have we ever seen that? Have we ever gotten Pac versus Shelton Benjamin? I cannot recall a time that I've seen them fight.
MVP versus Marina Shafir.
You know what though? I did another brief fantasy booking real fast, and then we'll move on. But I do have a theory, and we'll see how it plays out. But I do have a theory that Mercedes Moné will be looking to join the Hurt Business in some capacity.
Oh, I think that makes 100% sense to me.
Yeah, I think that
because the Hurt Syndicate's all about Moné.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's really a match that works very well. And with Camille, with Mercedes, I mean, you don't need to, honestly. You really don't need to. I actually think Mercedes Moné can just do perfectly fine on her own. But
she was kind of aligning with the Elite a little bit. She was. So it makes 100% sense for her to
Money talks, as she says. Money talks. Speaking of money, though, this actually moves us to our next segment because I did want to take a moment to give some flowers to Julia Hart for a moment here. Julia Hart just dropped a dope teaser on Collision for her return. Julia Hart has been gone for a little while. because she lost the TBS championship to Willow, and kind of just got trapped and stuck in the middle of her awesome run with the title, in between Mercedes Moné and Willow, and this like match that Tony Khan just needed to do for some reason. And I was really bummed out, but I thought her character work was brilliant, and she did some really, really cool things, creative things that I have never really seen, like done before for like, especially in AEW for the women's division. Jake, I know you're a sucker for this kind of stuff. Did you get a chance to watch it at all?
Yeah, I mean it's really good stuff. I love the random choice of her using a bow and arrow to kill herself.
I think there was some symbolism to that, because I mean I could be wrong, but I saw somewhere on Reddit someone mentioned that she did archery in high school. Okay, so sure, that was like and then obviously she's killing the cheerleader character.
Yeah, it's an arrow to the heart. Yeah, so there's a lot of symbolism in it, which I love. I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, especially with this kind of character, she's more layered and she seems more. Well, I mean, I guess not now. I was going to say maybe a little at conflict with who she is, but maybe not now. Maybe that's the whole point of this vignette, is to say, I'm back. I'm better than ever. I'm gonna, you're about to see, a new version of me, but the same thing that you've been, that I was when I left. I think she can do some really good shit. I think she can really embrace this dark character, that doesn't have to be like I like these dark characters who are methodical, and I really think that she can pull that off. And yeah, I really liked the vignette. I wonder if that was her idea. I'm interested to find that out.
I apparently it was, and
then it's great. It's brilliant. They
even did some behind the scenes stuff too. I'm trying to find it. I thought I had copied it, but I saw it on Threads.
Do we think it's a House of Black reuniting thing, or is this a totally separate rebirth all unto itself?
I think it's a separate rebirth. I think it is.
Kind of shedding
I also don't know,
behind.
because I feel like if there's going to be, because there are so many factions, the biggest faction right now, besides Hurt Syndicate, is Death Riders.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you want a faction to be involved with them, then you do need another woman on the team. So it wouldn't be surprising to me if you saw her rejoin House of Black to in some way be involved with them in some capacity, but I don't know.
I do have
a
slight thought though that she could be coming back as a face. Like a bad guy
I could
face.
very much see that.
Or sorry, not bad guy, like a dark gothic face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's shedding the skin, she's moving forward. This is a new Julia Hart. She's more focused, more prepared, knows exactly what she wants to do now, is ready for it.
More willing to do what it takes.
And is ready to take back from those who took from her. So there could also be a world where she comes back heel just to feud with Willow again. And Willow could use some L's right now. I think it wouldn't hurt her at all, because she's still super popular with the crowd. Some stickiness, if you will. I know Matt likes when I say stickiness.
Well, I didn't know it existed in relation to a crowd until you said it about 30 minutes ago. But apparently
in the lost files, in the lost.
Yeah. Stickiness with the crowd is apparently when you've got a good rapport relationship with the crowd, folks. So we're going to get sticky with you.
We are going to get sticky with you.
That's
stickiest.
All we want. So we just won't get you sticky.
We just want to get rid of
the stickiest of the ickiest right there, baby.
Before we go to a break and just take a second to congratulate our new X-Division champion, Moose, who had... I loved that match with him and Mike Bailey.
It's great.
You guys must have so much fun casting that.
Mike Bailey, we talk about it all the time. He's just stupid, talented, and has like stupid good chemistry with everybody, which also just shows that he just knows how to work because he knows how to work to other people's strengths and everything.
I just want to show this moment real fast that blew my flippin' mind real quick. I'm just going to show it briefly just so you can see it. The Poison Rana.
Oh, the Poison Rana. Yeah.
Holy crap, that Poison Rana. I thought the man was dead. I thought he was dead. He landed
It's
right
Moose.
on his
You
neck.
can't kill Moose. You can't kill Moose.
Clearly you
hurt
can.
Moose.
Look at
Clearly
his
you
neck.
can.
You can't. No.
Yeah.
That man, his neck is made of solid steel.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's cool. I mean, banger of a match. Go out of your way. Go watch it.
seriously, seriously.
But then, it ushers in a new, the system is still a thing in TNA. They're still attempting to kind of claw back to power. So, take a little diversion from the world title scene. And Moose is already what I like, actually. I dig. Because one thing that has made TNA unique is its Option C protocol, which is where you can trade in the X-Division title for a shot at the world title. Another one of those ideas that is unique.
God, I love
People
TNA.
People are very split on it.
I love that. Why are they split on that?
Because I do, and I see their point. I think it's a unique path to a world title shot. And it, you vacate the title, you can get a new tournament for the new X-Division champion, and then you get put into a title match. So it makes for some good narrative pivots and stuff like that. But to some, and I can see the point, it makes it feel like
it's a very
secondary.
Much like a
this is
title.
just a step. Yeah, I don't care about being X-Division champion. Yeah, so like
Fair.
I think both are valid points. I think it's an interesting stipulation, but I can see the arguments of why it makes it feel less than.
Yeah.
So Moose has publicly stated, I don't remember if it was a promo or if it's just like a tweet or whatever. But he went on record and was just like, I could Option C my way back to the world, but I'm not. I am going to make this the most important title in TNA. I'll make it bigger than any. And so I like the fact that he wants to put that emphasis on it. And just from a fan point of view, it is, and we talk about this on commentary a little bit, it's a return to some of the stuff that made the X-Division unique. It's not just a different cruiserweight title, folks. Like, we do mean it. It's about no limits. It's about guys who have matches that push it to the edge. They have a little bit more of that fast-paced style. So now, for the first time in a while, we have an X-Division champion who fits that Samoa Joe Abyss mold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're kind of a big guy who can work that style.
Yeah.
So like there's some cool things on the horizon, I think, for the X-Division title.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about it. Jake, I know you're a big fan of Moose.
How can you not like Moose?
By far was our favorite moment.
Try texting
at
with
Rebellion.
him. That's how.
Try texting with him.
He doesn't seem like a texter. He's
a big texter.
Is he? I was going to say his fingers seem like they. I fat finger my phone all the time, and he's a large man, so I can't imagine he doesn't have the same struggles.
Yeah, no, it really TNA good stuff happening over there. And look, guys, we mean it when we say it. It's the best time to be a pro wrestling fan right now. You legit have. I could pick a storyline in each promotion that is like incredible right now that you should be paying attention to. That is a really, really awesome feeling as a fan of this stuff, having watched it for so long. To just be like, yeah, like you could tell everyone's having fun, everyone's cooking, and everyone's doing some really creative stuff.
Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Like the product. Now, again, with wrestling and being such a variety show, of course, there's things in every promotion that are absolute dog crap too. But like, there's no, I feel like, whenever there's been multiple promotions, there's always kind of been one that's like,
one struggling.
They're generally bad. You know what I mean? Or something like, but truly for the first time in a while, I feel like everybody's got one or two really strong, like storylines or attractions. And like you said, there's something good going on in every major company.
Yeah, it is so awesome, man. I've loved every minute of it. We truly are in a awesome time to be a fan of this stuff. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into some WWE stuff. Don't go anywhere. This is Rebooked. Hey, everyone. If you want to join us on Discord, you can go ahead and click the link in the description down below right here on YouTube, as well as on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Join us on Discord so you can be a part of the conversation when we talk about all sorts of things happening in the world of professional wrestling, on top of the fact that we're just a couple nerds. We just like talking about wrestling, talk storylines, talking all the fun stuff. Check us out on Discord. You can click the link down below. We'd love to have you join us. It's a good time, and we'll see you there. Welcome back, everyone, to Rebooked. So we covered some stuff going on in AEW, as well as the Hurt Syndicate. We also talked about what's been going on over in TNA, with Moose now being the X-Division champion. But let's go ahead and talk about some WWE. Specifically, let's talk about the Bloodline, because the story continues to evolve. Sami Zayn, as expected, and as we had already talked about weeks in advance, we knew that this was coming. We saw the writing on the wall for this, Matt. But again, just because you know it's coming doesn't mean it's like not compelling. I really like how they're doing this. And I know this is going to sound like really weird, and I'm not even trying to get like political here for a minute, but I actually really like the fact that this faction is embracing like feelings and talking to each other and trying to be better men and connect with one another. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Healthy masculinity.
Yeah, who would have thunk it? What do you make of it, Matt? How do you feel like, despite the fact that it was predictable, we knew this was coming?
Oh,
we're still being fed?
That was one of my things, I think, early on in this show, is like, just because you know it's coming, if it's done well, it's done well. I know Pam and Jim are going to get together, folks. We knew that from episode Mother Flippin' 1, okay? Yeah. But we liked watching the journey to get there, okay? Same thing with this. I mean, we called this months ago. We're like, Survivor Series, we're going to have a civil war. Whether or not, probably Sami, but we weren't sure. But for sure, the OG 3 were going to get back together, have a civil war. We knew that was coming.
Yeah.
I've liked this. I loved the tease. I loved the how unimmediate it was. They've taken the time. They didn't belabor it too much, but with Roman kind of change of heart, like, it wasn't an immediate from Jay. It's not an immediate from Sami. And even with SmackDown this week with Sami, I mean, like, the opening promo to the close of the show, they gave us like one more little swerve. And it wasn't what I liked about, especially the solo stuff, was, at least on this edition of SmackDown, I still think it was weird, like the pre-Crown Jewel, like, why is he talking to him? I almost could have done without that. Yeah. But I like the fact they came out, all right, this is going to be the moment. Everyone's going to throw the ones up. And then Roman's he's still too proud, right? I can't, I'm not apologizing. He couldn't even apologize to Jay. I thought we were going to get that. And so he kind of turns, I'm not doing this. Yeah. So I liked in that episode, then at the end, everything happens. New Bloodline beats him down solo. Out comes Sami again. And I love the fact that it was like, oh, Sami, like, what's what I'm trying to, like, we can chalk up Crown Jewel to an accident, whatever. But it was like, he turned you down. Yeah. He turned you away. You tried to offer your hand. He slapped it away again. So now you're going to kick him on purpose. Yeah. Like, that was the thing. Roman, you screwed up. Yep. You could have had your fourth. You could have had that backup. But Sami digs down deep, just chooses, his old friends or whatever, takes that risk, and it pays off. The family's reunited. So like that was like a last minute swerve that worked. Yeah. That I really, really liked.
Yeah. I think that they're really showing a willingness to continue to be very very out there with things. Like, for example, like Sami Zayn being like, and we'll talk about it more on Monday Night Raw, but him on Raw being like, I'm going to go recruit for someone. Right. And it's like little things like that. Like, no one's going to side with you guys. Right. The story is basically indicated you're on your own. And if anything, people are like, why are you even there? They don't want you there. But like, this goes, I think, to Roman and Sami like embracing or something like that. I really want to see that, because right now it's like Roman's like, hey, you're helping me out, and I support that, and you're definitely with us. But I want to see that relationship like push even further. Hell, I would even like to see a world where Roman and Sami become a freaking tag team. I think that'd be really cool.
It could be very cool.
Well, what's interesting about it is it's a lot of character development that we're seeing.
Yeah.
This is one thing that's interesting that we haven't seen from Roman Reigns, especially since we started the Bloodline, is Roman realizing he needs help. And he's reluctant to do it.
Yeah.
He's always been, he's always been the, fine, I'll do it myself guy, and just goes and takes care of business. But he's finding how important these people were along to him along the way. And it's interesting to watch him struggle with that internally of him still being like,
are you telling me that the real bloodline all along was the friends we made along the way?
Yeah.
God,
100%.
Oh man. Yeah. I believe it. That's so good.
It's true.
Yeah. Friends you choose, family you're stuck with, and I think it's interesting seeing Roman struggle with this of like finally admitting, damn, I do need help. And it's one step along the way to him, discovering not only do I need help, but like,
pride is his deadly sin.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. This arc has been amazing. I've very much enjoyed everything that has come from it. We're now going to get the Survivor Series War Games, and they're looking for a fifth, the Bloodline.
Yeah, now that...
Any takers on who you think fills that spot? Because...
Oh, 100%.
Who?
It's Cody. It's Cody.
You think Cody?
I think it has
Survivor Series War Games. You think Cody's going to show up?
Cody does not have a world title match or anything like Damian and Gunther kind of set. There's nothing on the horizon for him really either. If you think about it, Randy and KO are kind of in the middle, even though Randy's about to. So
then
who teamed with Roman once before already?
And then Kevin joins the new Bloodline.
I didn't think.
Kevin
I was
just
waiting
goes on a rampage. It's
could be.
either
I
or.
was waiting for Hikuleo's maybe debut. This has been, but that was weeks and months ago.
I was thinking of kind of along the lines of what they did with Drew McIntyre, where he was like, "I'm not." When they did that other War Games, where he's like, "I'm not here because I like you. I'm here because I hate them."
No, that's a really good point. Actually,
I could see Kevin joining that too
for one night only. Fine. I'll get to Sami, who's betrayed me multiple times and screwed up our friendship. Roman, screw that. Cody's gonna be there. Yeah, I want to beat him up again.
You tell me I get a chance to kill the original Bloodline once and for all.
I didn't think about that at first.
And he's so hell bent on it because at this point he doesn't care about the fact that the Bloodline were annoying. He
can't
just
see
cares.
the forest for all the trees. He's
just
blind
wants
with
blood.
rage. That's all he wants. He wants payback, and he doesn't care how he gets it.
As a great heel, makes him the ultimate hypocrite because he was mad at Cody for after all the work they had fought this Bloodline, Solo's Bloodline. Him and Randy backed up Cody, and now so
you
like
either die a hero, you either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the heel. That's what we're saying here,
dude. You guys are cooking. Holy crap. I got nothing left to add.
Why don't we have those hats yet?
Yeah, I know. We got to get them. I don't think there's anything left really to add on that because, that all
I think it'll be really good. Great drama heading into
It does bum me out, though, that Tongaloa is just the guy that kind of gets asked out from this because, he's not going to be in that match. Like, it was just weird, too, because there are 5 of them, so it just makes sense to use him.
There is 5.
There is 5 of them.
Oh my God! In my head, I'm just thinking there's 4. Oh God, that's not fair. That sucks.
Yeah. Wait. No. Actually, there's 4 of them. No. You're right. There's 4 of them.
Okay. I was gonna say. I was like,
never mind.
He's not getting asked out. Yeah. You
this
had
whole time.
Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu,
I'm sorry.
Solo.
You're right. It's just so you know, I'm probably coming down with the flu. Everybody. So I got flu brain. But to that point though. That also means that, if you look at where the pieces have kind of been played, this indicates that this is where it should go because Sami Zayn's going to show up on SmackDown this week and he's going to try and recruit some people and he might be successful in recruiting Cody, but you bet your ass there is going to be an interaction between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah.
You bet your ass.
Not a civil one.
And not a civil one. If he's willing to beat up Randy Orton and Kevin and Cody Rhodes, he don't give a fuck about
pile
them.
drive him, to give him a pile driver. The dreaded.
He buckle bombed his he apron bombed his best friend on his debut.
Right. Yeah.
Kevin Owens don't give him a care. I love it. It's amazing. So good. So good. I do want to take a moment though to talk specifically about Monday Night Raw as a show, because I was genuinely, this show was fun. I don't know if anyone felt the same way, but every segment had me for the most part hooked. And I feel like Monday Night Raw, again, just continues to be the gift that keeps on giving. And I know they're putting a lot of muscle behind it because of the Netflix stuff. But even with that,
It's also going back to 3 hours. Did you hear that? And so is SmackDown.
Wait, it's going to 3 hours?
Mm-hmm. They're going to go back to 3 hours on Netflix, and SmackDown will also be 3 hours.
Why? Why do they hate us? 2 hours of TV is fine. You don't need to do anything more than that. Oh, Lord D. Well, anyway, talking about Monday Night Raw, I really, like, every segment had something to deliver on. For example, the Wyatt 6 Final Testament segment. Finally, we're doing something with the Final Testament. And like you mentioned last week, finally, we got the Wyatts back on screen, and they got their asses beat, which was great because the Final Testament needed that.
I got to give it to Miz.
Oh, for Miz was amazing.
Because Miz hasn't done acting this great since Marine 3.
Yes. Kind of setting that bar low, aren't you?
No, but I thought he did great. I don't know how he got the cut above his eye, but the cut above his eye sold it even more.
Dramatic effect, bro.
Yeah, because he looked terrified. He was great. And then when he gets back in the ring with a chair, and I was like, well, now what's this guy doing? And he hits the Wyatts. I'm like, you're batshit crazy.
And he hits the biggest one.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I thought it was a fantastic segment. And now, yeah, I'm very interested in it. I can't believe it. Very interested in what's going on with the Final Testament now.
Just like that.
For the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a little more invested in Final Testament.
Mm-hmm.
There's been so much also happening with the New Day as well, because our dear friend Xavier Woods continues to
look at that shot.
Embrace. I know it's a great picture.
For a video, we're looking at a still from Raw, and just in the mid clothesline, Pete Dunne looks like his face is melting off his body. Woods is like a maniac. Kofi's doing that with the cell, which is distracting the referee, and he's like face is smushed.
Yep.
Sorry, the faces
are
good.
Great. It's so good. Yeah. But really, I have liked this because this tension, right, that they've continued to build upon. And what makes it even better is that this story connected and had impact because of the Final Testament story, and then the Wyatt 6 story, and now you have R-Truth and Pete Dunne. That's also kind of like colliding in this process, which R-Truth with watch out for Butch, so funny. Which makes sense. He got beat up by Butch a lot. He got beat up by Butch a lot. I could get why he's scared of him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, is it a matter of like everything's too connected and it's kind of getting lost in the sauce, or do you feel the synergy the way that I'm feeling it? Because I just felt like the flow of the show is just really good.
There's no wasted motion.
Yeah,
there's no wasted motion with it. Like everything, all kind of bleeds into each other a little bit, and that's a good thing. From a storytelling aspect, it's a brilliant thing. It means, like I said, there's no wasted motion. There's no moment that's not important. There's no detail that can't be used down the road or even just later on in the show. I mean, because I don't know if you even watched, but who was it that was walking through the back?
Oh, Bronson Reed.
And then in the background, Jimmy is talking to Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. And
who just walks away after a while. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away. Like even little things like that, I think are just are fantastic. And you know, that's part of the reason it also bums me out that they're moving to 3 hours, because it's like, man, but you're forced to use that 2 hours like just
really efficiently,
and that's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think I mean they're doing great stuff.
The other story that I when it happened, look, I'm a Damian Priest mark. I'll always be a fan of my fellow Boricua, you know. But I was not ready for this story with Damian and Gunther part 2 to have such a great
and emotional hook.
Oh man, Damian Priest coming out with all the confidence in the world, staring Gunther down. Gunther, for the first time since we've ever seen him in WWE, from his time from NXT UK till now, he is doubtful of himself because he lost to Cody. And I thought that Cody winning was a bad decision, but I should have known that I'm stupid. And this was...
I could have told you. Shoot.
This you could have told me I was stupid. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I'm happy to remind you.
I just need reminders sometimes, guys.
But who didn't record the first 15 minutes of the show today? It doesn't matter.
Don't make me laugh when I laugh. It hurts.
No, I'm sorry.
No,
but this is good.
There is just so much really to peel away from this, and then the Ludwig Kaiser part of it all comes into this. And I mean, Ludwig's great on the mic. He's a great bad guy. It's great to see him start to stand on his own outside of Gunther's shadow. Even if it's Gunther telling him not to talk, that all adds to the tension of the moment.
It's Gunther. What I loved about this moment was is Gunther a man who feels he's losing control of his confidence, of his control of the ring, which is the mat, which is sacred. That is his home. To your point, confident, shaken. So what does a toxic person do when a part of their personality is shaken like that? I'm going to control the thing or the person I can control. So I'm going to abusively, if you will, like my sidekick here, I'll control him. I'll dominate him.
Yeah.
And, I'm treat him potentially poorly and everything because I can't take that out on or at least I don't feel confident to take that out on the guy across the ring from me now. And I'm shaking there. So screw it. I'm going to take it out on those close to me.
But then even Kaiser pushes back.
Yeah.
And that's interesting too. Cause Kaiser's like, no, this is who you are. And this is like, what are you doing? Stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And those are some great points that Damian made then too. He's like, listen, if you were the old Gunther, you'd have dropped me by now, but you're not because you're scared.
Yeah.
And you don't think you can do it. This is not a layer I expected to see with Gunther.
Yeah.
And I think Gunther played it brilliantly.
Yeah.
I thought he played it so well. You could see, like, I loved the moments of him, like, he didn't even know what to say.
And it wasn't
never at a
overplayed.
loss of words. Right.
It wasn't the classic wrestling of like,
yeah.
Oh no, what do I do? Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was very subtle.
It was in his eye. It was that he blinked.
Yeah.
He blinked.
Yeah.
Damian Priest stared him down and Gunther blinked.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was so good.
It was very nice.
And
yeah, it's just that like
yeah.
It's so good. It's those moments like in the horror movie, when they cut Jason and you're like, wait, he's bleeding. So he's human. So he can die. Like that's kind of how it felt a little bit with Gunther of like, now there's blood in the water. Better be careful. There's a lot of sharks swimming on Raw.
There really are. There really are. And if anything, it is shown how there has been such an evolution of all the different characters on the program. Like even like Bronson Reed, man. Like him just walking out to the ring, just calling out Seth Rollins like it's nothing, wanting to just get his pound of flesh, like the fight again. It's just I'm okay with it because Bronson Reed continues to look like a monster, continues to put fear in Seth Rollins' eyes. He didn't want to, we'll see what happens if he ends up being the fifth man for the Judgment Day. For the OG Bloodline. Because they talked to him. It seemed like he wasn't really down. But then a certain Solo Sikoa popped up on Monday Night Raw to talk to Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to say, I think Solo Sikoa might be my favorite character on Monday Night Raw right now. Because,
look,
I'm going to tell you
that's
why.
bold.
Go on. I'll tell you why.
He's not mine, but I do want to say, I think he has improved dramatically.
Yes.
I think he is finally feeling comfortable and has found his version of his tribal chief.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. He's more of a smart ass. He's more like trying to just be buddy with like, hey, when he was
putting a hand up to try and dap up Seth Rollins, he's like,
yes.
That's right. So you hate him too. You want to join me then, right? Right. And he's like going in for the dap up, and Seth Rollins is like, no.
Yeah.
I don't like you either. And then just like walks away, and you could just see his face, like Jacob Fatu just there the entire time, just like, it's so comically ridiculous.
I love it.
He's genuinely like a DC supervillain. I say DC supervillain because they oftentimes are quite comical with some of their villains.
Yeah.
And it feels like that. But I love it. Like when Seth Rollins is talking and Solo's like, hey, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. I'm like, dude, that right there, that's a guy who's just a little shit. Who's a little shit, who's always was a little shit, and is now just fully embracing being that. I thought it was great. I just thought that whole segment was just so, I was laughing the whole time because of how comically just insane.
Well, it was like a few weeks ago when he bought tickets to the show, and he's like, I got tickets.
I got tickets right here.
I bought tickets. I'm allowed to be here. Like, that shit was funny to me.
Yeah,
that was great.
He's so animated too, like his facial expressions. I actually went back and watched some of Solo's NXT stuff from like back in the day. He's actually always been pretty good on the mic. I think it's more or less just finding your like voice, like
I think there
he
might
gets his
have
message
been,
across, but now he's finding his voice, and that I think is more important.
In the early days of the new Bloodline, whether it was intentional or it was just kind of like how he reacted to being in the moment, it was trying to be Roman.
Yeah, I feel like that was a little intentional.
I'm going to be quiet. Yeah. I'm kind of like not say a lot. I'm just going to try to but he didn't have the gravitas for it. And so, like, again, I don't know if that was a quote character choice or
he was just the person. He's the pit bull. He was just the pit bull that they wait to turn loose on people. That's all he was. That was his whole role. He played it perfectly. But now he's having to carry a lot more, and he's finally finding his place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also in women's world championship news, Liv Morgan more than likely has a new contender for her title if she survives the fight against Io Sky, which she should, because you ideally want Liv to pick up some more wins against established champions, or former champions rather. But it looks like we could be seeing Bianca Belair head back to that. Is this the start of the breakup that everyone kept talking about with Jade and Bianca? I don't really want them to break up with like blood and a feud. Not now, at least. I don't know. But what do you guys think? Does anyone feel strongly about that?
I think what would be fun to do with Bianca and Jade is not do the typical like breakup angle, but rather like two friends who start like being like friendly competitors with one another, and it starts getting out of hand. Because they both seem like they're both like Bianca in particular is extraordinarily accomplished.
And they're both going to be world champion one day.
And they're both
so
going to be world champions one day. So you just kind of have them like, I think it'd be fun. Like, they lose the titles for whatever reason. It just wasn't their night. But now it's like, hey, I got an opportunity to take down Liv. I'm going to do that. Oh, well, I have an opportunity to go after this brand new women's US title.
Yeah.
Like, why don't we just, and it's just kind of like, oh, we're friends and, yeah, well, I beat this person. Yeah, well, I did that. Well, I did this. Well, and it just kind of starts to get.
Isn't that how the
anything
Mega
you can
Powers,
do, I can do better.
Yes.
Wasn't that the Mega Power story with Hogan and Ultimate Warrior?
Yeah,
right.
And you just do, and they start to get contemptuous with one another, and it's just and to where it's like, okay.
And then Jade carries off Montez to the back, and Bianca's like staring off, like, "What are you doing? What are you doing, Jade? Oh yeah, I'm gonna come get you."
That's exactly what happens.
I think that's what happens.
Book it.
It has to. I mean, at this point, if it doesn't, I consider it a disappointment and I send it back. All right, guys. Well, that, of course, like we said, so much to talk about, but, you know, it's the end of the show here. So we got a few more things of business to handle. One of those things has been our recurring segment. Who is gonna win the Royal Rumble? Wait, who is gonna win the Royal Rumble?
That was
There you go.
That was a thing that happened.
That was a thing that happened to your ears, and you just had to let it be. Let it be. Let it be. All right.
And there goes
And there goes
now
monetization.
now we're getting
All right. So this week, in case you guys don't know, we have been every week predicting who we think is going to win the Royal Rumble based on how storylines are going and pretty much like using our best guess, because we have a tendency to get a lot of things right on this show. So we decided
We're very smart.
We're very smart, except me. Matt will let me know that right now. But yeah, we have our Royal Rumble watch. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what everyone has predicted here today. Hello. Okay, so we have interesting.
You two are cowards, is what basically what I'm learning here.
Or
No,
are we the
you're
bravest?
cowards.
Or are we the bravest for
We're
sticking
consistent.
All right,
We're
let's go over it
consistent.
for our audio listeners.
Baffunopoly.
So I went with CM Punk yet again. And
He went with the same shit as
and
last
Lyra
week.
Valkyria from last week. Same thing with Jake. He went with Kevin Owens and Jade Cargill. But Matt this time around changed his prediction from Batista and now has the Terror Twins winning the Royal Rumbles, which
I tell you
actually
what,
isn't
Rhea
a bad.
Rhea
not
had
bad.
crossed my mind as well. Rhea was also one that I considered.
The two of them, after having a hell of a year and babyface turn in the latter half of 2024, it'd be a hell of a Rumble story to have. I mean, I'm not as chaotic this time as I have been in previous weeks, but yeah, look, can you tell who the TNA guy is? I'm throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, no, I think it could be a hell of a story. Obviously, like, I wasn't sure in the after like Priest lost the title and like when Rhea and her things would live, I wasn't sure how it was gonna, if it was gonna keep going on forever. So I was like, is this Terror Twins thing kind of temporary, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
But obviously they're going full steam ahead with. Obviously, Rhea was not really a question, but they're sticking with Priest as a main
They really
eventer and everything like that, and to see that could be I think a big thing in his future. So I think that'd be a hell of a Rumble story for those two.
I don't disagree with those picks at all, because that makes a lot of sense. And when you factor in how much they invest, like, I don't think Damian Priest wins the title off of Gunther, but because I would see a world where Kaiser helps Gunther win, because Kaiser's such a loyal lemming, right?
Sure.
He's so loyal to Gunther that, like, I could easily see him do the same thing that he accused Gunther of doing when they fought the first time, which was not being able to win on your own. And I would really like to see them kind of flip that on its head, except this time it's Gunther who needs the help, so to speak, but doesn't. But Ludwig Kaiser kind of just does it anyway, which then leads to their split. And I would like to see that, because Gunther's awesome, and maybe they want to make him a good guy. I mean, kind of easy to cheer for a guy who's an incredible professional wrestler. So it's like Cesaro.
We'll get there eventually.
Claudio,
Yeah.
right? Like, everyone just cheered for him because, I mean, the man was a god in the ring, and there's really nothing else you can say about that. I decided to stick with this real quick, and Jake, you're probably the same way too. I didn't see anything this week that told me we were going another way. I'm still convinced CM Punk is the guy, because they wanted to do this last time. And Lyra Valkyria is a bit of a wild card, but I just didn't see much in the women's division. The only other option would be Jade Cargill, but even then, I'm not entirely certain. Jake, what about you?
I had thought the three women I thought about were Jade Cargill. I thought about Rhea, and I thought about Bianca. The reason I didn't go with them is because they've already won a Rumble. That's the only reason I didn't go with them. So I just kind of leaned a little more toward Jade because I think I just think that would be a huge boost to her singles run if she won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And
she could like lose at Mania. Like she could lose at
Yeah.
Mania. Like it's fine, you know, like you can continue to build her.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
There's a lot of
Kevin, Kevin still makes sense to me. It just makes too much sense to me.
He really does. I mean, CM Punk, I still stand by, but the more that the Kevin Owens show continues, the more I'm like, yeah, it's the one thing he hasn't done. He hasn't done that, and they want to get him back in the title picture. You can see it because people love. You want to talk about reactions? This guy gets a reaction every single time. He's like one of the realest dudes. People love him. He's a great wrestler. Throws his body on the line every single night. Has been doing this for God knows how long. And if you're a WWE fan, you must love him because he's one of those indie guys that stayed with WWE. You know, like there really is like a lot of good things to say about Kevin Owens. So I'm with that. I'm with that. But of course, that takes us to our Rebooked 24/7 Champion of the Week. That's where we award the person, place, thing, or whatever that made us laugh, made us happy.
Place thing pretty much covers it all.
Made it, whatever. The thing in wrestling this week that brought us joy, or you just want to laugh at. Who wants to go first? I got mine. If you guys want to wait. You got yours? Okay. Do you feel like it's the last one, or do you feel like it's go first?
It's I'm comfortable wherever you put me. That's what they said.
All right. So I will go first then. Because I think mine is not going to win, but I thought it was awesome. So on HBO Max, they came out with this new show called Invincible Fight Girl, and it's freaking awesome. It's basically about a kid who works as an accountant, and in this world, pro wrestling dominates everything. Pro wrestling are gods.
I heard
pro
about
wrestlers
this.
are gods. And she works as an accountant and she wants to become a pro wrestler. And then one day she gets to accomplish her dream, but in a way she did not expect. And it's great. Animation's very close to like a mixture of like, I don't know, Steven Universe paired with like, like an anime kind of Black Samurai style, if you will, like a lot of hand drawn, looks like hand drawn, and also a smidgen of Dragon Ball as well. It's great. It's really fantastic. It's on HBO Max or Max, whatever you want to call it. Invincible Fight Girl. It comes on. They've been advertising it during AEW, and it's really, really good. So check it out.
Nice.
I suggest you do so. All right,
Hell yeah.
Matt, you want to go or Jake? You want to go?
Sure.
Matt, all right, go for it, Matt.
Sure. So GB, if you want to, during this preamble, in our chat in the writer's room, I did provide a picture. And so my 24/7 champion of the week is, I don't know who to give it to. I'm going to give it to, I guess, this man, the man for this photo shoot, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did with GQ. And specifically what really piqued my interest with it was, and I forget, if you're out there and you happen to listen to our show, there was somebody who, I don't know if it was like Instagram or Twitter or whatever, they tweeted something along the lines of a caption of, "You wrestle Seth Rollins once and you become like the fashion icon," because it looks like something Seth would wear on Raw or something like that, especially during his like iconic or revolutionary phase. So that caption popped me, and just seeing The Rock in that element.
Wrestles one match with Seth Rollins and
one match, and all of a sudden he is the icon.
Two things on that. When I did Titan Games, he was just trying to wear Dolce & Gabbana like the entire time. And everyone's like, "This is a physical competition show. I don't know if you want to wear Dolce & Gabbana and like dirt fields and stuff like that, but okay." So then in the next season, he started to wear his like Rock Under Armour stuff, which I think looked really cool. He's an incredibly well-dressed guy without a doubt, but it's just, that was just funny. And also he won Entertainment's entertainer of the year this year, which I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, not to disparage him. Did he
But
come out with
this
anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah.
WrestleMania 40.
Unless I'm wrong, but even then, the whole story of that was that people didn't want him there.
I know.
So that was the whole narrative. So like he's entertainment's person of the year. Fantastic stuff. All right, Jake, what's yours?
I sent you a video
Oh dear, you guys.
that I want you to play, mostly for the audio.
Oh dear. Okay.
But
Let me see
it will
if I
become
can
you share audio?
It will become evident what mine is.
Let me see if I'm getting audio here.
If GB can get the audio in.
Okay, hold on one second. I gotta fix this. But I should be able to. Everyone knows it's football. Okay, so I hope everyone's prepared for this.
The audio is important.
Hold on.
Important.
Let me double check. You hear it?
No.
Nope.
Oh, old time wrestling. Oh wait, hold on. I'm gonna show it real fast.
Well, we can't hear it.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know why you guys can't hear it. I'm trying to. Chat mic. Here we go. Now I think.
There we go.
There it is.
Okay, now you can hear it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
now we can hear it.
All
Yeah.
right. I'll edit that out of the show. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
Well, we talked about the old loser leaves town like old time wrestling.
Ha!
LSU got hit over the head by a folding chair and thrown over the top rope tonight.
Yeah.
Who is that?
That is Chris Fowler talking about the number 11 Alabama Crimson Tide beating the dog shit out of LSU in their own stadium. The stadium was empty after halftime. That's how bad we kicked their ass. That is
demoralized.
That is not only that. LSU's Death Valley, as it's called, Tiger Stadium, is ranked in the college football game the toughest place to play in college football. It is notoriously one of the toughest places to play in college football, and they left. They left at halftime because of an absolute shellacking. And I got to give it to him, Jalen Milroe. Milroe, look,
You like him today?
I owe you
like
an
him now?
apology. I owe you an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game. No, that's a meme. Anyway. But I think he was injured. He came back, played great. Chris Fowler's making wrestling references. What a Saturday.
What a Saturday.
It was.
Hey, I had a great Saturday too. I was in Las Vegas commentating Halo 2 and playing commentating over some of the
20th anniversary.
20th anniversary of
And
Halo 2.
the Thursday before that,
we went to see Back to the Future, the musical, baby.
right.
It's a
That's
shame that Wednesday sucked ass. Anyway, that is going to do it. And Tuesday and every subsequent day.
Who's our winner? Who is our winner? Who are we settling on?
I'd like. What would you want to give it to, Jake?
I would like to. I'd like to, if I could. I like Jake's pick. I love seeing a crossover into.
Same here.
it's my favorite.
In
That's
the media.
when that happened,
I love seeing that stuff.
When that happened, I rewound it and filmed it just for you guys. And it wasn't until right now that I remembered that I did that. I was a little intoxicated during the game.
As one is.
Say that.
Everybody's a wrestling fan at some point in their life.
Look at this score right here: 42-13. Roll
They scored
Tide.
a touchdown with 11 seconds left because they left their starters in there, the little bitches. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, that is going to do it for us here on Rebooked. We thank you so much for tuning in this week and tuning in every week. We're really close to 1,000 subs. So if you can just tell a friend, if you watch this right now and you're like, I'm going to just tell a friend who likes pro wrestling about the show where, three guys talk nerdy about pro wrestling, please let them know. All right. We want to continue to build this and have fun with it. Especially in times like this where people need something to kind of disconnect from and enjoy. So if you are one of those folks and you want to find a community, you could join us on Discord. We have an excellent small community there of pro wrestling fans who post spoiler results, who post theories, and it's
And
awesome.
we now have a Shoot Sports channel that I made where you can talk about other real world sports.
Meat sports, as we like to call it. So there you have it. So you can go there and talk about all sorts of things. And, we want to find ways to improve it and just make sure that people feel safe and welcomed in a community that cares about them. So we thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week right here on Rebooked. Make sure you like and subscribe, and take care. Bye.